at breakfast. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Nick Ferrari at breakfast on LBC.
What do you want to hear from our Prime Minister in a little over 2 hours' time? Sir Keir Starmer will give an address to the nation, is understood, concerning the threat to Greenland. I remind you, this is an extraordinary fight in which everyone's getting itself, because the United States, courtesy of a treaty, I can't remember exactly when, but it was in the 1950s, should it so desire, can open more military bases on Greenland. The local population is against it. Denmark is against it. The European Union is against it. And you have the extraordinary situation where other NATO countries are shipping troops into Greenland in case of any form of hostile action from the United States. An extraordinary game of chess. Now, we've already heard the Prime Minister telling Trump his threat to impose tariffs is wrong. Sir Keir Starmer will hold that press conference, as I say, later this morning. There have been crisis conversations with European leaders. They could be looking at £80 billion worth of EU tariffs on the US. Meanwhile, to Washington, where one top Republican is accusing President Trump of risking a possible war with NATO. LBC's US correspondent Simon Marks has filed this report from Washington.
I'm a fan of Denmark, too. I'm a big fan. But, you know, the fact that they had a boat land there 500 years ago doesn't mean that they own the land.
The President of the United States speaking last week and appearing to see no contradiction between his designs on Greenland and the fact that American sovereignty was also the direct result of a very similar boat trip by the Pilgrim Fathers aboard the Mayflower. It set sail from England 405 years ago. Nonetheless, this weekend, Trump upped the ante, threatening tariffs on 8 NATO allies, including the UK, and insisting they will only intensify the longer they refuse his efforts to acquire Greenland.
He could quadruple the tariffs and we still wouldn't do it. He could threaten us more with military invasion and we still wouldn't give up Greenland.
That's Rasmus Jarlof, chair of the Defence and Resilience Committee in the Danish Parliament. He told LBC yesterday that Trump is engaged in extortion.
We're not going to do that. It would be immoral just to hand over 57,000 Danish citizens that don't want to be part of the United States.
The Prime Minister will today hold a press conference occasioned by the President's threat to cause massive damage to the economy of Britain and the other NATO countries that Trump is targeting. In a phone call yesterday, Sir Keir Starmer told the President his tariff plan is flat wrong. The EU is threatening to unleash billions of pounds of retaliatory tariffs against US exporters. European leaders will confront President Trump at the World Economic Forum in Davos this week and encourage him to back down. Meanwhile, here in America, evidence that the president may have bitten off more than he can chew.
In 1951, we signed a treaty with Denmark that allows us full access to Greenland.
Republican Congressman Mike McCall of Texas is a leading foreign policy voice within the president's own party. He echoed Denmark's argument that President Trump doesn't need to buy or annex Greenland to boost the U.S. presence there.
The fact is, the president has full military access to Greenland to protect us from any threats. So if he wants to purchase Greenland, that's one thing. But for him to militarily invade would turn Article 5 of NATO on its very head and, in essence, put us at war with NATO itself.
He spoke to ABC News. Other Republicans are also breaking with the president, several of them publicly warning that he is risking a possible third impeachment process against him by flogging the Greenland horse, and that any effort to seize the territory with military action would be the end of his administration, at a time when 65% of Americans tell pollsters an invasion would be a mistake. Democrats are also piling on. Mikey Sherrill, the newly elected governor of New Jersey, also spoke to ABC.
There is not one person in New Jersey that wakes up in the morning and says, gee, I hope today's the day that the president dumps billions of dollars into buying Greenland while my grocery store costs continue to go up. That's a trade. Nobody wants that trade.
New Jersey Governor Mikey Sherrill concluding the report by LBC's US correspondent Simon Marks.